All right. Now we're about to jump into this next topic. This next topic, actually, that me and Jeremy were talking about a couple nights ago. Um, Listen, I love MMA and I love Rampage. Rampage is an amazing MMA fighter. He's not my favorite MMA fighter, but I love what he brings to the sport. But it seems like his son Raja might be going to jail, like for real. And I'm glad. And I'm going to point out, Jeremy did a good job sending me more context to it because the only thing that I saw was that TikTok video that's been floating around, and TikTok has not been doing a good job blurring out the actual beatdown. But if you guys don't know, Roger Jackson, son of Rampage, MMA fighter Rampage, was caught up in a wrestling promo with this guy named Psycho, but it's spelled Siko. Psycho's a wrestler, and Raja was entering this wrestling field. Now, apparently, and Jeremy sent this to me because I didn't know this was a thing. Psycho was like taunting Raja and took a real beer can and smashed it against his head. And if you fast forward to the next video where Psycho was wrestling, Raja jumps in, picks him up, booms him down, gets on tops and just starts hammering him. Now, it looks like when he booms him down, he's already unconscious.
Yep.
So before he started punching him, he's unconscious. But once he starts punching him, he's adding more fuel to the fire. And here's the problem that I have with this video. Why didn't the wrestlers come to Raja sooner? They let him get off at least 4 or 5 licks on his face before like anyone comes to break him up. Are they afraid of Raja? That was the notion that I got. Yeah. And according to reports, I think they're according to reports, or at least the report I read, that it's attempted murder. And Psycho's fine. He was unconscious. He's stable. He's not dead. However, he could have died that night. And let me just say this, because at first I thought it was like promotion, like what Lil Nas X is doing. But let me just say this: wrestling for the most part is fake. Mm-hmm. For the most part. However, what we saw was not fake at all.
No.
And I would just say to Raja and his family, you should not allow anyone to take you out of your character. You shouldn't allow anyone to disrespect you, but don't let something happen. Don't do something for 5 seconds, give you 50 years. Because if it were me, I not only would I put you in jail, I would sue the hell out of you. That's just me. I would sue the hell out of you. But I will say Psycho had it coming, because if you hit me with a beer can, I'm just gonna punch you in the face.
So
but I wanted to pass it to you, Jeremy. What do you think about this situation overall? What do you think is going to happen? And oh, by the way, before you give your opinion, I will say Rampage did put out a statement, and he's handling it very well. But I will say Rampage, a little bit of it is of him covering his ass, in my opinion. So, but what do you also think about that statement as well? And what do you think about your opinion over the whole matter?
So, all right, a couple of things. Psycho Stu was hit 21 times before the people pulled him off of. Raja hit Psycho Stu 21 times before they pulled him off of him. Just haymakers, and the dude's totally defenseless, right? Like Alex said, and I think he's right. The second that he got Alabama slammed and his head whiplashed and hit the mat, I think he was out then. If not, the first, second, third hit definitely knocked him out. At some point, he was completely defenseless laying there. And Alex, I don't know how like deep into the YouTube space on this you've gone, but it's a very contentious and I think racially charged story.
Yeah.
I feel like let me back up a little bit. Okay, so there's this promotion called Knox Pro Wrestling.
I did see that. Yeah.
Rikishi is a Pensacola native. He owns this promotion. It was also affiliated with WWE, meaning WWE gave them some money or something. Nothing like major association. But because Rikishi's a Wrestling Hall of Famer, they granted him the ability to be able to tie the promotion to the bigger company. There's wrestlers, and wrestlers do kayfabe, and kayfabe is personas within a real person. It's the character. It's not the person. But oftentimes in wrestling, all the way back to like WrestleMania, the very beginning when Cyndi Lauper was getting involved and Mr. T was getting involved, they've always brought in outsiders.
Yeah.
There's a term called workers, and what workers are is it's just a term for somebody in the industry that's a wrestler that understands the difference between kayfabe and selling. Selling is like if somebody hits you with, it looks like a fist, but it's like a soft fist, and then you go, oh, and like that reaction to it is selling. A receipt is what happens when somebody works too stiff, which means they like hit you too hard, and so you check them by giving them a receipt. Okay, great, we got that set up. Raja comes to supposedly work in an angle at this wrestling company, and he shows up on stream with his camera guy, and Stu's there, and all their camera guys are there. And what Stu does is come up to him and is like, you know who I am? And Raja's like, no, I don't know you. And then Stu is like, you better know who I am, and picks up it's a half empty beer can, and he puts his hand on top of Raja's head. He places his hand on Raja's head as if because what you would do typically in wrestling is hit your own hand with the can, but Stu misses and hits him on the head. Whether or not that was intentional, it's hard to know what somebody's intentions are. But I think Stu was drunk. I think he was hammered, and that they were doing kind of like a tailgate party. And because it was like an unprofessional professional wrestling, indie wrestling kind of thing.
Right.
So if I walk up to Alex and I hit him over the head with a can, even though he may know that he's about to get into some kind of wrestling stuff, but I hit Alex over the head with a beer can, that's assault. That is assault. I don't know if it hurt you or not. Assault isn't about how much it hurts. It's about the act that was put on somebody. Raja said on the stream, it didn't hurt. So, okay, great. It didn't hurt, but it was still assault. And at the very least, it's going to do something to your pride, something to your ego. You're going to feel disrespected, right? That's if a black guy does it to a black guy, if a white guy does it to a black guy, if a black guy does it to a white guy, you're still going to feel a little disrespected. But then you put on the fact that like a lot of the people around were white people. And Raja's chat starts getting him really gassed. And Alex, you said it. If somebody hits you over the head with a can and you knock them out, one punch, that might be a receipt. That might be it might be an overreaction, but it was a reaction. It wasn't premeditated. It wasn't something you thought about. He hit you. He didn't tell you he was going to do it, because in a good program, they would have approached Raja ahead of time and they would have said, all right, you're going to come here. We're going to get in a face-to-face with you. We're going to hit you over the head with a beer can. It's not going to be full. It's not going to hurt, but it's going to sell that this is a real confrontation. Well, after Stu hit Raja and they both get pulled apart, one of the promoters that brought Raja in starts saying like, you're going to get your receipt. You're going to get your get back. Come to the wrestling ring and settle it in the ring. It's going to be great for promotion. And if he does anything to you, I'm going to step in. So Raja doesn't shake Stu's hand immediately because he's not into it. But then once this promoter says like, you're going to be able to get back at him, Raja shakes his hand and you can see the gears are turning in his head. And then the chat starts gassing Raja up and being like, you just got punked. You're a bitch. Your dad.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
You lost in MMA. You're not a good fighter. Just the typical crap that commenters do. They're just the worst kind of humans. Not you guys. Y'all are great. But most of the people who comment, So for the next couple hours, Raja's just getting madder and madder. It's not de-escalating, it's escalating. And the spot where he slams Stu, that was supposed to be the spot. Stu was supposed to sell it, but Raja knocked him out with that thing. And then, so if the receipt was knocking him out, you did that, dude. And then he gets on top of him, starts pummeling him, nearly beats the guy to death. The guy was literally drowning on his blood and teeth. Finally, some wrestlers intervene. They pull him out. One of those dudes got split. Raja's a real fighter. These wrestlers, man, Alex, you called it fake. I know there's acrobatics and you have to have an endurance and tolerance to pain. You also have to let go of your ego in a way to where if somebody does something like that, you keep your wits about you. But this guy wasn't a worker. He was just a celebrity that came in to do this thing on good faith. And then he felt disrespected. And I get it. He did deserve a get back. He probably should have knocked Stu out right there on the spot. And then he would have went viral for different reasons. And I think a lot of people would have been applauding him. But what he ended up doing was premeditated and just vile, horrible assault. And I hope that Stu makes a good recovery. As Alex said, he didn't die from it. I'm not sure if he'll ever be the same. I mean, he's definitely going to need some dental work, and I don't know what kind of head trauma he suffered from it. But also this is, and I'm going to get, if this clip happens to go viral, both of us are going to get so much heat for this because the consensus is Stu is a retired veteran and this angry black man nearly beats him to death in the ring. And whether or not they say black man, they use these dog whistles like uncivilized. They use words that have historically been used for black folks, and they don't maybe say it explicitly, but it's like you can read between the lines and know what they're saying. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I know where you're going with this because there's actually one article you sent, or sorry, there's a video you sent in our chat, and it's not necessarily the video, it's the comment section where someone actually blurred out. They started their commentary by using the N-word, but they blurred out the N-word, and they gave their commentary about what happened. And because so to me, and I may get attacked for saying this, I don't necessarily see it as a black and white issue personally, because Raja knew what he was getting into initially. And also, I will say this, yes, Psycho probably mistakenly hit him, but the fact of the matter is he did hit Raja. I think Raja took it too far.
Yeah.
And he was being gassed by his own, because there's a separate video where you see his stream in the comment section calling him a bitch. You know, I'm like, bro, like, first of all, if I were you, I'd fire your cameraman.
Log off.
He was gassing you.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like, you shouldn't be listening or watching that. And then that's why I said, like, his father, Rampage, did a good job responding in a way that a father should. Like I said before, I do believe in that same response he was covering his own ass.
Yes.
But at the same time, I would say to Raja, even as an MMA fighter, you should not allow somebody wrestling, MMA, none of that, to get you to that point, because now you're striking up conversations like this. And I think personally, because there's video of him after that altercation of him fighting him, he's still like walking with the camera, cussing like, I'm not gonna let you, no bitch, try me. I ain't no bitch. I'm this. I'm like, dude, the fight's over, dude.
Yeah,
it's over. Like, it's over. Like, instead of being worried about being called a bitch, I'll be worried if I'm going to jail or not.
And he might, but because I don't know, man, because I do believe there's an angle for the defense to say, like, Raja was assaulted first,
right?
But what he did was not a involuntary reaction. Yeah, and he waited hours and stewed over it and built up so much anger and so much hostility. And while like I agree on the surface, Rampage is and Rampage is a freaking legend, by the way, but his response was good and measured. But apparently he has said terrible things about Raja. Like, I'm setting aside college funds for 2 of my kids and bail money for 1 of my kids.
Right.
Raja had just now gotten a concussion like days before this. He should have never been involved in this in the first place. So I think there's blame to go around, but people don't want to look at things holistically. They just want to look at the real simple thing. And whether or not you and I ascribe to the fact that if it were different, if it were 2 white people, if it were 2 black people, maybe the outcome would have been the same. But you go to the comments and you see how race always plays a factor. I think it's impossible for it not to. And there's a bunch of bad actors and white supremacists living among us. They're like, they're out here. They may not say it in person, but they'll say it in the chat. And they'll say it in the comments section, and they'll hide behind their little ambiguous avatars, so there's no accountability. But I think there's been a lot of like bot campaigns and people who have bad intentions that are going into these chats and using very reductive and harmful stereotypes and they use Stu was a veteran. He thought that Raja was coming to work. He had no idea that this was going to happen. And that's probably mostly true, but I don't know what Stu's intentions were. I don't know if he did that in good faith or if he wanted to make Raja look like a punk because here's some outsider coming in that's not a wrestler, that doesn't know the business, that's just getting preferential treatment because their dad is famous. I don't know, but you're right. I mean, the big takeaway is, to anybody is like, your pride is not worth your time. And that's what you're trading here. You took your time and you're trading it, or you took your pride and you're trading it for time. And it could be 5 years. I don't know. It could be 25 years. How much is your pride worth to you? Because ultimately this is the cost of it. And, it's a shame all the way around. I think the promotion deserves responsibility, and if Stu sues them, I wouldn't blame him for that. If he sues Raja, I wouldn't blame him for that. If Raja gets arrested, I wouldn't blame him for that. But when he's getting charged and they're giving him his sentence, I hope they consider that this guy did not know the wrestling industry and did not know that this man was going to hit him on camera in front of tens of thousands of people. So it's just unfortunate, man, but it really has like lit up the online space in a way that I haven't seen many things lately.
Yeah. And it's been all over my TikTok feed, my Instagram feed, and even partially my YouTube feed, but more so TikTok, because every 5 swipes there's a Raja video. I will say this really quickly before we go to our next topic is that I hope he, like you said, I hope he is charged fairly if it comes to that, because he was assaulted first. However, I do think he he took it a little bit too far, in my humble opinion.
A little bit.
But I will say this. The only way, as a black man, the only way I would count this as a racial issue is if Psycho were saying racial slurs or saying anything disparaging about black people. Since we don't have that, I don't consider it a racial issue.
That's right.
I see 2 fighters basically engaging in some form of combat, and one of them took it a little bit too far. That's
way too far. Way too far for me.
Yeah, because like hitting him 21 times, he's down. Like they always say, never hit a man while he's down.
Yep.
That's right. Like you shouldn't, like even like, I don't know how it is in prison, but when you're fighting in prison, so I've heard stories from ex-prisoners who say when they're down, they're down.
Yeah.
So, but for me, I'm praying for Psycho and his wife, or his family. I hope he makes a full recovery. I hope this doesn't traumatize him where he can't work and function normally, because I wouldn't wish that on anyone.
Right.
I'm also praying for Raja and his family that whatever happens, that obviously he does deserve some consequences, but fairly. And I pray that if nothing does bad happen to him, I hope that this is a learning experience and not one of those experiences that you shall allow your fans or family to gas you into something that's going to put you behind bars.
Nope.
Or put you in or even a worse place, because where I'm from, and you know this in Pensacola, if you beat somebody down and they take it crazy or take it the wrong way, they're not coming back with fists. You know what I mean? They're going to come back with lethal force.
Yep.
So I hope it doesn't go to that level. So, but my prayers go out to Psycho and his family, and Raja and his family. But what do you guys think? Just be honest. What do you guys see from this situation? Give your honest opinions about it, and how do you think it should play out going forward? Just jump into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts